him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-magab, it's time for the only news that matters. And Scorpion singer Klaus Meine lost his voice at a very crucial time in the band's career. But luckily, the group got a helping hand from a future fellow rock star. As the German rockers were heading into the studio to record a follow-up to 1980's Animal Magnetism, they were poised for a long-awaited breakthrough in America. Unfortunately, the decade of hard work which had gotten them to that crucial point has also taken a big toll on Mine's voice. I think the heavy touring and studio schedules finally got me, he told Noise Creep. My voice was in bad shape. I couldn't sing. I thought my career was over. I couldn't sing. It was that simple. While Mine recovered from the required surgery, his bandmates continued working on demos for what would become 1982's Blackout album. But they needed somebody to fill in for the singer, at least on the short-term basis. So our good friend Dokken came to Germany and worked with the rest of the Scorpions in the studio. He recorded some of the songs with them. In a 2020 interview with the Metal Voice, I love the Metal Voice, Dokken was modest about his contributions, saying he only worked on the record for a couple of days. He said, I only sang a couple of songs, a real quick 20-minute scratch track, just to get the melodies on tape for Klaus. It was just a scratch track to save Klaus his voice. I had some surgeries done and rested my voice for 6 months or something, Klaus explained. When I finally came back, I was in really good shape. I even did the high-pitched backing vocals like I did on the older records. I think one of the two of the songs still have Don somewhere. Indeed, Don is credited with background vocals on Blackout. They'd been working on it like 2 years and they wanted to finish the record and it was almost done. Dokken told Cassius Morris in 2023 that Dieter Dierks, the producer, said, do you want to come to Germany and just do all the high stuff? So, you give me all I need, No One Like You, Dynamite, and all those super high vocals on the harmonies. I just did those. That's all I did. Because I was green, and I couldn't do it. Dokken was also quick to shut down rumors that he was even in line to take over for Klaus. He said, even if somebody had asked me to join the Scorpions, I would have said no. It would be a great honor, but I told Klaus, I would have said no because you are the voice of the Scorpions. I'm just here to help out, that's all. We've now all been friends for over 45 years. As a thank you, Dieter Dierks gave Dokken access to recording studio time, which he used to record the demos that led to his first record deal. Blackout turned out to be exactly the hit the Scorpions needed. The album hit the top 10 in the US album charts and was certified gold just 3 months after its release, thanks largely to the hit single No One Like You. As to whether fans will ever be able to hear scratch tracks Dokken recorded with the Scorpions, well, don't hold your breath. Dokken said, I've been asked that a lot. I have some tapes, but I would never give it to anybody or play it for anybody or let it out of my hands. So there you go. Yeah, I've always known about this. Dokken, I was always under the impression, or I think I read back in the day, that Dokken did the whole record, but now it's just he did some scratch tracks and stuff. But, it was one of those things that I remember reading that, you know, Dokken was in the Scorpions. While, you know, and then when Klaus got better, they brought Klaus back. But I don't know. I tend to believe what they're saying now, you know, that, you know, I don't know if Dokken really would have said no about joining the Scorpions. Come on. He was a nobody at the time, had no recording, and Scorpions were, you know, they were starting to get big. You know, it was one of those things that, you know, their next album could have exploded for the States, which it did. Kind of like, you know, Highway to Hell with AC/DC. You know, Bond, you know, Highway to Hell did really good, and it was poised to blow up the next album. You know, no matter what, it would have been big, you know, and Van Halen is the greatest example. 1984, they couldn't have been bigger. That whatever they would have released next would have been huge. And yeah, what they released next, in my opinion, sucked ass. And it sold 6 million copies. And then after that, it just sold less and less. Because Vangina sucks. But that's besides the point. I've always been a Don Dokken fan ever since I heard Paris is Burning on the Metal Shop. I'll never forget, man. I was on a Metro bus with my little ghetto blaster recording Metal Shop. I was on the bus and I recorded Paris is Burning, and you hear a little static here and there when we're going under bridges and stuff. But I went out and bought Breaking the Chains, and, you know, honestly, I was a little disappointed on that album. I loved the title track. I loved Felony, and I loved Paris is Burning, but the rest was kind of like crappy. And then they released Tooth and Nail, which I feel is a perfect album. I don't think there's any filler songs on it. I think it's just freaking awesome. And Don Dokken, you know, he does get a little shit because you get, you know, this massively talented George Lynch in the band, you know, and the criminally underrated drummer Mick Brown, which is one of the greatest drummers I've ever heard. Listen to Don't Close Your Eyes and Bullets to Spare. The guy was amazing. He was just amazing. And, you know, Don Dokken didn't have, like, this technically amazing voice. It was kind of organic and stuff, and I love that. I love, you know, I don't care if it's not, you know, a lot of people just, oh, this singer is not good because he's not technically, you know, proficient, you know, like, you know, people slam on Ozzy, you know, because Ronnie James Dio took his place, where Ronnie James Dio had a technically much better voice, but it doesn't matter to me. As much as I love Dio Sabbath, I prefer the Ozzy stuff. I prefer Ozzy's voice in Black Sabbath. But I don't think I would prefer Don Dokken's voice in the Scorpions. Because Klaus Meine, to me, is one of the greatest singers ever. And I've said this before, if Klaus Meine was to die tomorrow, a lot of people would wake up how amazing this guy's voice would be. People would be changing their profile pictures to Klaus Meine. Because the guy is just unbelievably great. And it would have been weird for Dokken to sing. I don't know how that would have worked. It probably would have been good. I probably would have liked it. But I would have been like, yeah, Klaus, man. Klaus is missed. I would have, like, hated him being out of the Scorpions. So I'm glad he's still in the band after, Jesus Christ, it's been like 50 years. I know the Scorpions technically started in like 65, which is amazing. You know how long that band's been around. And Klaus Meine is one of my favorite singers of all time, man. And yeah, I guess you can say he's technically amazing, but man, there's just something about that man's voice that I don't think anybody could replace him in the Scorpions. He is the Scorpions. Or I should say, he is the voice of the Scorpions. And, you know, my favorite era of the Scorpions is the Uli years. But funny enough, not my favorite album. My favorite album of the Scorpions is Love Drive. And my favorite Scorpions song is Anybody Out There, which is a very reggae-ish song, and I hate reggae. And yet, that's my favorite Scorpions song. But man, Blackout, and I know this is controversial saying this, but Blackout to me was the last amazing album until their last album, Rock Believer. You know, I just listened to that album like 2 weeks ago, and it's still freaking, what a killer album. I love all the songs of it. Even the bonus tracks, which are kind of like, I don't know, hokey. But, I mean, not all of them. A couple of them are pretty damn good. But, man, the song Seventh Son is kind of like their version of China White, but, you know, the 2022 version. I absolutely love that album, man. Gas in the Tank, the song Rock Believer. Oh, man. And I love the mellow tune. What was it? Where When You Know Where You Come From. Amazing stuff, man. But anyway, that's what I feel, man. Klaus Meine is the voice of Scorpions. I love Don Dokken, but I don't know if it would have been as good. I don't think it would have been. I probably would have still dug it, but I bet you I would have thought, I bet if Klaus sang these songs, it would have been better, which I still stand by that, because Blackout is one hell of an album. Anyway, that's it for The Only News That Matters. Thank you all for watching. You all rule. Leave your comments below what you feel. I know a lot of you hate Don Dokken, so express that you hate him. It doesn't matter to me. I'll still love him. But Klaus Meine, I mean, how can you dislike Klaus Meine? That would be strange. You're strange. You weren't dropped on your head as a baby. You were thrown at the wall really quick. Because Klaus rules. Everybody should know that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. You all rule. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and ring that little notification bell. And please, please like the video, because it's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so nevermore shall we see you again.